Coming up next, we'll learn all about IAM apprenticeships, how they work and how to set them up. Activate Live starts now.
Activate your voice. Activa tu voz. Activate it now.
Speak up. Speak out.
Get involved. Get involved.
Engage-toi.
Take action.
Aktiviere deine Stimme.
We're union and we're proud.
Welcome to Activate Live. I'm Tanya Hutchins at Machinist Union headquarters in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Today's show is about apprenticeships, but we'll also let you know how you can become an associate instructor with IAM CREST. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, the IAM is asking the White House to save more than 110 jobs at Regal Beloit's aerospace manufacturing facility in Valparaiso, Indiana. Last week, the company announced plans to close the plant 59 days into a strike by IAM Local 2018 members over fair wages and affordable health care. No response yet from President Trump or former Indiana Governor, now Vice President Mike Pence. Members returned to work Tuesday as part of an agreement reached between the union and the company. The IAM will begin bargaining Regal's decision to close in an effort to keep the work in Valparaiso. We'll keep you updated on that. Well, workers all across North America celebrated Labor Day this past Monday, a time to recognize the contribution of employees and the labor movement. These are photos from IAM District 98 in the Eastern Territory. In the Midwest Territory, IAM Local 1553 in Rockford, Illinois marched in the Labor Day parade, as did Local 1000 in Bloomington. In our Southern Territory, here's what the celebration looked like in Calvert City, Kentucky. And in the Western Territory, this is the celebration in Long Beach, California. The IAM Delta campaign celebrated Labor Day in Atlanta with AFL-CIO Secretary-Treasurer Liz Schuler raising awareness about organizing efforts. In Toronto, Districts 78 and 140 celebrated by marching from downtown to the Canadian National Exhibition. Well, we spoke to some members about what their union jobs mean to them.
My union job means I have more options.
My union job means to me support for my family and a future for my children.
My union position helps me make other people happy out in our community.
My union job allowed me to retire at an early age.
Safety in my workplace.
I'm a retired union member, and a year ago my union pension allowed me to buy a new retirement home.
Well, maybe some of the members you just heard from participated in an apprenticeship. It's one of the oldest forms of traditional on-the-job training. Joining us now to tell us how apprenticeships work and why they are so respected is IAM Apprenticeship Director Jim Reid, who is also in charge of safety and health at IAM CREST. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
Thank you, Tanya. Thanks for having me.
So how do apprenticeships work for the people out there that have never done one?
Basically, you're learning from a skilled person how to do the job. So that's the on-the-job training component. And then so many hours a year during the term of the apprenticeship are for classroom instruction, where you'll learn key elements that you may not get from the on-the-job training.
Now, I know we have a lot of different apprenticeships, and they go across the board with industries. And here is a sample of some of them, but not all of them. What are some of the benefits of an apprenticeship in one of these programs?
Well, essentially, the main benefit is you're learning and earning at the same time. You get paid to work, you get paid to go to school, and so you're not spending money, such as if you went to college, you'd be spending money ending up coming out in debt. With an apprenticeship program, you serve your 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the length of the term of the apprenticeship, and you have earned money along the way, and you have consistently gotten raises. Every registered apprenticeship starts out at a certain percentage of the journeyman rate, and every 6 months you get an increase. So you're not only learning, you're getting money every time you successfully complete 6 month periods.
Now, you mentioned a registered apprenticeship.
Yes.
What is a registered apprenticeship?
It's registered with either the state or federally with the Department of Labor. We have 66 registered apprenticeships in the IAM, either state or federally, and we have over 4,000 IAM members who are listed as apprentices on our membership records.
Now, you have seen so many of them and visited with them. Can you give us an example of one of our apprenticeships?
I can give you an example of two. The Youth Transition to Work program in New Jersey we have a grant with the New Jersey Department of Labor that we take high school students who are just graduating. We get them jobs in IAM shops in New Jersey area, usually automotive or diesel or forklift. And then we help them get through their apprenticeship program. So they're starting out at 18, 19 years old. And after 4 years, they've graduated as a journey person and they are making the top rates.
That could change someone's life, can't it?
It can. Some of the students are actually, they're moving out of the house and buying houses of their own. So,
which is a dream come true for them.
Or their parents.
That's true. Now, you said you had a second example as well.
Yes, just a year and a half ago, with District 711, for many years, we've been trying to get an apprenticeship program with TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority. We haven't got it with them, but we got it with the contractor, and TVA has to pay so many cents per hour for every working hour that our members work into the apprenticeship program, and we're just coming up. We have 10 apprentices that are going through now. This will be their first year complete, and they'll be hiring another 10 apprentices this fall to, again, begin going through that turbine maintenance machinist program.
That is great news. What is it about apprenticeships in terms of training and the standards involved that make them so much better than just throwing somebody into a job and trying to train them in a week?
Well, it's the skill level. The value to an apprenticeship program, once you become a journey person, is you have a certification. You have a certification from the registering agency that you've completed an apprenticeship, and you have a certification from the union that says you are a journey person, and those credentials are transportable. You could serve an apprenticeship in Maine, move to California or Hawaii, and be accepted as that type of skill, that trade. You're already there.
Now, we get calls, we get emails, social media posts from people saying, how do I get into one of these programs? Who is eligible to become an apprentice?
Well, anybody who's working at an employer where we have an apprenticeship program. Essentially, we are not like the building trades where we have our own schools. That'd be nice, but unfortunately that's not the case. For example, if you're working at Penske Auto Leasing in New Jersey and you want to become an apprentice, they'll have an apprenticeship program. You could enter that program. Or if you go to Arconic in Cleveland, they're just starting a tool and die apprenticeship program. And so we'll be creating a joint apprenticeship training committee where labor and management will help decide who the apprentices or successful people are going to be.
Now, the flip side of that is a company. What if a company wants to start an apprenticeship? How do they go about setting that up?
Well, the best way is to do it with the union. Some companies may try to go the route of the current administration with an industry-recognized apprenticeship program, but there's no guarantees with that. There's no certification. There's no registration. It's a kind of a catch-all, and it's really a form of economic entitlement for the employer. It's not going to help the person.
Is that part of the changes that were recently with the administration trying to put through changes with apprenticeships?
Yep. They're keeping the registered apprenticeship, but as far as the IAM is concerned, we'll be sticking with registered, not industry recognized.
Okay, we got to keep those standards up.
Yes.
Tell me about some more of the benefits of the apprenticeship programs, because the benefits are not just for the apprenticeship, but as you said, there are benefits for the employer as well.
Well, the Department of Commerce has come out with a study that for every dollar that's spent on apprenticeships, then you get $1.50 in return. As you train that young person, they become really locked into the company. They don't, some people think, well, if I start an apprenticeship program, they're going to be poached by somebody down the street. Well, that isn't necessarily the case. If you're paying a reasonable wage, an extra $1 an hour when you know where everything is, you know how to do the job, and you're going to keep moving up is probably better for you than, hopping off down the street and maybe not having a union, not having good health care, and so on and so forth.
What are the responsibilities of the employer once they have set up the apprenticeship?
Work with the union, make sure the apprentice is meeting their goals. If the apprentice isn't meeting their standards, you might be able to hold them back. Labor and management can agree on that. But you also are making sure that you've got a skilled person who can solve the problems that you're going to have in the future. Because generally when you're talking about apprenticeship, somebody's going to be retiring. And as people retire, you're going to need those skills.
And what are the responsibilities of the apprentice if they've been accepted into a program?
Show up on time, work, learn, pay attention, and after about a year, you're ready to actually do some work on your own. But you've got to be able to focus on what's going on in the facility and learn. That's the thing. If you've got a job done, don't sit back. Go ask what else there is to do, or pick up a broom and clean up.
See, there's always something to do. I love people who think in advance.
If you've got time to lean, you got time to clean.
That's right. So. I should follow that at home. So, Jim, what is a joint apprenticeship training committee? What is that role?
Well, it's the union and management putting together usually 2 or 3 members from each side who would meet every quarter and just assess the progress of the apprentices, determine what actions need to be taken, and do they need to upgrade things, or is there something they want to start a new apprenticeship? Well, then we need to find out what that is and register that.
So now we had a picture up earlier. If you're just joining us, we're talking about apprenticeships. You actually had an event last month for IAM CREST. Tell us a little bit about who's in this photo and what was going on. Was that a full week of training?
No, they had 2 days of interpersonal skills training, which I did up in New Jersey. This is the youngest cohort, or the newest cohort for the New Jersey Youth Transition to Work program, and our director up there, Ira Stern. And then they had 2 days of OSHA training. They got an OSHA 10-hour and a first aid certification for that.
And what are we seeing here?
This has to do with our associate instructor needs. We're trying to build a cadre of associate instructors to assist with training in the field. To do that, you need to go through a chemical emergency response training, which is what this is from Placid Harbor, and then do a train the trainer program, which we'll be having next year in March.
So next year in March. So there's time for people to still get in touch?
This class comes up again in November at Placid Harbor. And then they also have some at the Chemical Workers Center in Cincinnati. And then in March, we'll do Train the Trainer. We need 8 to 10 folks. And they'll become associate instructors with IAM CREST.
How can they apply? Can they email or call? How can they apply?
Sign up for the classes, and we'll take care of it from there.
Excellent. What do you think are some things that people don't know about apprenticeships, if we can bust some of the myths out there? Is there anything, especially with recent changes, I mean, you want people to know what a true apprenticeship is?
Well, a true apprenticeship is, whether it's the construction trades or manufacturing, an apprenticeship is learning on the job, learning from a person who's done that job for years and is passing on that information. And the only thing that really occurs to people when they call in here asking, how can I get to be a machinist? Yeah, you've got to get a job as a machine shop, and if they're an organized machine shop, you can get to be an apprentice.
You know, this training is so valuable. I did a form of an apprenticeship in Boston when I graduated from college, and I did a 1-year training program, and it was actually at a television station, and it was through, at the time it was AFTRA, now the unions have merged, SAG and AFTRA. But it's just invaluable to learn from somebody who has done, the job that you want to do in the industry that you want to be in. Yep. You just can't replace that.
If you think about doctors, it's not just a college education. They go through an internship, and the focus of the mantra with doctors is you watch one, you do one, you teach one. And that's basically what we're talking about with an apprenticeship. You watch the job being done, you do the job with some help, and then you teach somebody else how to do the job. That's an apprenticeship type program.
I bet the employers can tell the difference between people who have been through an apprenticeship program and people who haven't.
Yes, there's lots of scrap for those who haven't.
Wow, a lot to learn, especially in these jobs. That's why we're highly skilled.
Yep.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to mention, Jim?
No, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
That's great, and I can't wait to see how many people apply for your associate instructor positions.
I can't wait either.
Okay, and mention the 2 requirements again. You have to go through the...
You have to go through a chemical emergency response training, either at the Cincinnati Chemical Workers site or at Placid Harbor in November, and then you are eligible. Once you've gone through that, you're eligible to go through our Train the Trainer program at Placid Harbor, March 9th to 13th, I believe it is.
Great. Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking time out to speak with us.
No problem.
And keep up the good work with the apprentices.
Thank you.
More than 4,000. That's amazing. I can't wait till we pass the 5,000 mark. That'll be wonderful. Well, this was Jim Reid from the IAM Safety and Health Department, IAM CREST. He has so many hats that he wears, the IAM Apprenticeship Program. So what do you think? Comment now to activate your voice using live chat on YouTube, comments on Facebook, or by replying to this video on Twitter. You could even comment during the replay. Let us know if you have done an apprenticeship. Let us know if you are an instructor. And what was your experience like through that apprenticeship? So we're looking for your comments throughout the show. We see all the people that have been saying hello already. So thank you to everyone who has been commenting so far. We have a look back now at this week in labor history. Way back on September 4th, 1894, contract tailors in New York celebrated Labor Day by going on strike. 10,000 struck for shorter working hours and demanded wages instead of what was then called piecework. Unemployed tailors pledged not to replace their striking brothers. Lots of solidarity there. On September 4th, 1903, mine owners in Cripple Creek, Colorado, tried to bust the labor union. Police and sheriff's deputies were relieved of their duties, and all citizens were required to register their firearms. The governor sent in the militia, and a year later, the owners even took over the local newspaper and rounded up strikers into bullpens. Dozens were arrested without warrants. Well, grab a pen or pencil or take notes on your phone. Here's where we tell you all of the deadlines coming up for classes at our training center in Maryland, the William W. Wimpesinger Education and Technology Center. It's time to register for the following classes: Advanced Web Development. That deadline is September 9th, and the Advanced Communicator class deadline is October 4th. For more information, go to the website wimpesinger.iamaw.org. Lots of state council meetings coming up. Here's our upcoming list. September 19th, the Washington Machinist Council meets in Ocean Shores. September 21st, the New Mexico State Council has its second meeting in Sunland Park, New Mexico. September 27th and 28th, the Maritime Council of Machinists Biennial Conference takes place in Moncton, New Brunswick. October 5th, the Joint Dakota State Council of Machinists meets in Fargo, North Dakota. And this isn't up on the screen, but Tennessee State Council meets October 15th to the 18th in Nashville. So I thought I'd throw that in there for you. We also have some special events coming up. The International Staff Conference for the IAM is coming up in San Diego, September 8th to the 12th. That's next week. Working for you. September 30th, the Metal Trades Department has its annual conference in Las Vegas until October 3rd. The Coalition of Labor Union Women, also known as CLU, has its biennial conference in Las Vegas October 15th to the 18th. And the Air Transport District 140 Convention meets in Victoria, British Columbia, October 28th to the 29th. I hope you got all that. Well, support your siblings. Share this video to your local or district page. And thanks to all of you who already do. We are going to see you next Wednesday on the same social media platform. Bye-bye. You can watch the replay at any time.